County Court of Hardeman County now in session. Honorable Mayor Todd Walsh presiding. Please remove all hats, turn all cell phones and papers off. Thank you.
Thank you. Meeting will come to order. Let's go ahead and have our prayer and pledge. If we could, Commissioner Gillum, would you please lead us in prayer?
Yes, everyone bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, thanks so much for this wonderful day, Lord. Thank you for this county commission and what it means to this county, Lord. Just ask a special blessing over these commissioners and the people that are here tonight in the audience, Lord. Be with the ones, Lord, that during this cold weather that they're not able to stay warm. Be with those people, Lord, and protect them, Lord. Be with us tonight as we conduct the business of the county, Lord. We use you for that guidance and wisdom, Lord. Forgive us for we fail each and every day. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Miller, would you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. All right, we'll move into roll call. Madam Clerk, if you would, please proceed.
Bell.
Here.
Buffer.
Here.
DeBerry.
Here.
Galvin.
Here.
Gillum.
Here.
Grantham. Hensley.
Here.
Jenkins.
Here.
Kenmore.
Here.
Blake.
Here.
Lanier.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Sane.
Here.
Vickers.
Here.
Wings.
Here.
Wright.
Here. All right. Mr. Grantham had sent his regards. He is at the inauguration and couldn't be back just yet, so he sends his regards. All right, next we'll move on into the public forum. We've got 4 people. Now remember, you have 2 minutes. If you'd like to come up and talk about what's going to be on the agenda. And let me make this announcement. Go ahead and say this now. We've got a couple of things that need to be pulled off tonight. There is a zoning resolution, and we've got to get something corrected on that, and that won't be heard tonight. So we're pulling that zoning resolution and an appointment for the 911 board. That's going to be pulled off as well. So those 2 will be pulled off. All right, we'll have first Kevin and Fergie. Mr. Fergie, if you would, welcome. If you could speak into the mic, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, my wife, Princess Office, Louis, you good? All right, my name is Kevin Fergie, and I am a board member of Wood Run Property Owners Association. And over the past couple of weeks, we've had some of our people come to us and threaten us with lawsuits if we bill them on our assessments on their lots that are adjoining. So what they're saying is they come before the county and they've had these lots combined. And you look at it and they have, but you can't do that in a subdivision. We're under protective covenants. Anywhere else in the county, they can do that. But now we've had, Mr. Pulse has come in and erased these property lines in the comptroller's website. Now this potential to cost us thousands of dollars. Now we have no problem with somebody combining 2 or 3 lots to get their house on a proper lot. But we can't have you just combining all your lots just because you want to get out of paying assessments. Now that's not y'all's problems. And I say this because I see y'all are voting on some of the board members, on some of the things for the zoning office. And I know it's hard to get people to fill these positions, but you need to think about it. Just not any one body will do. You need to get somebody that has a little bit of knowledge, because if you don't, they can mess up and cost you more money than you can fix. You just gotta have some knowledgeable people in these things. And I know it's hard to fill these positions, but sometimes not having nobody is better than having the wrong person. And I thank y'all for your time, and I thank y'all for everything you do.
Thank you, Mr. Berger. Have you addressed these have you gone to the BZA or to the planning commission.
Well, it's just all come to light real quick, and it was kind of like it was done just a little bit. Didn't nobody know nothing about it. Now, when back a couple of months ago, when we did do some of these lots of records because of the small lots, and that was a good thing y'all done passing that, because, you know, it did free up the BZA, and everything don't have to go before them to combine some of these lots. Because, I mean, we're talking about 4, 5, 6,000 lots in the county, and we didn't want to hold nobody up if they want to try to build a house here. We're not gonna turn away growth. But in a subdivision that has a protective covenant, you know, like I said, if we want to do the right thing by the people, we can't just do it just to get out of paying money. You know, when somebody that's got a quarter-acre lot is paying the same thing that somebody's got a $700,000 house, you know, it kind of leaves a bad taste in their mouth. I ain't no problem with it, but it's just not right when they combined all these lots. We just need,
Then
if you
somebody
can-
else had combined these lots.
Yes, sir. Well, that it was done back when Mr. Pierce was here, a couple of them. But in a subdivision, if the county attorney was here, he'll tell you, when something's under a protective covenant, you can't just go in and erase those lines. Not when they're under a covenant. If they was just out there on the side of 64 highway, and it was 3 or 4 lots, yeah, you can do that. They do that, but when you're under protective covenants in a subdivision, that covenant's been there in the 70s, it's never been broken. You can't do it.
So
And we need them to stop. Now, everything needs to come before us. They, easy? Everything, if they need to get their stuff in order, they come to us, and it'll be on a case-by-case basis in our subdivision. Now, Grand Valley Lakes is totally different, because they have allowed the county to do combined lots. We just don't. We're not saying you can't, but it can't just be willy-nilly just to get out of paying something. I mean, it's the potential, and then they're gonna be like, well, the county didn't tell us that, and we don't want no lawsuits. We don't wanna have to sue them, they don't wanna have to sue you. It's just, we don't need that. You know, when this all can be handled in what the people need, but you know, you cannot erase property lines on that stuff.
Yeah, and for the record, I didn't erase anything. So
Yes, sir, I know, no, your brother.
Okay.
The other Mr. Cole, I'm sorry.
Well,
Not you, Mr. Dye, no, sir.
Thank
I
you.
should have specified that, but no, in the assessor's office.
And there are people here that are on this BZA board. I'd like you to talk with them tonight, and if you can, if you have time, speak with them after the meeting. It's
Yes,
the first
sir.
I've heard of this, and I really think we should, whoever had the complaint should have gone to them before, but hey, y'all can work those things out.
Yes, sir.
Because you do have an association, and apparently you have a lawyer for your association as well.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, so we need to talk, if nothing's been filed legally, you can still work these matters out.
That's right.
And talk to the board.
Yes, sir.
I would say, so thank you for coming up.
Yes, sir, thank y'all. Thank
See
y'all.
Mr. Clark back there, be glad to talk to you anytime.
Okay.
Mr. Nolan. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. I won't take too long, I just want to echo a little bit of what Kevin has said. There are those of us, I'm a wood run property owner, there are those of us that only have 1 or 2 lots. It doesn't do as much for us, but people that have 6 and 8 and 10 lots, if they find a way to combine them into one, that's gonna hurt wood run as far as collecting dues. My understanding was that it is the county's responsibility and their authority to be able to combine lots for county purposes. But in Wood Run, because we are under those protective covenants, even if your lots are combined, Wood Run still considers them separate lots as far as dues go. And we want to kind of short stop some of these lawsuits that people are threatening to bring because they believe they're being charged too much because they combine lots.
Very interesting. very interesting concept. And were you through?
Sir?
Were you through there? I
Oh,
didn't mean to interrupt. I
no,
apologize.
fine.
Your combined lots, your fees are set by your association, correct?
Yes, sir.
Would that not be the first step then to take that before the association to maybe say, okay, instead of a combined lot, instead of a 3 and a 3, now we've done it for 5, or can you give them a discount or a rebate? Let's say, make it 300, make it 400. That has to be voted on, I think, by the association or the property owner.
My understanding, and you pay more for your primary lot than you do for additional lots. What the contention is at this point is some folks are thinking, because they combined lots and turned them into one, that they only owe on one property. And that's the sticking point.
That's the
Is
contentious,
that,
yeah.
you know, they don't get to get by with one lot when other people may have 2 or 3 that they're getting charged for. We don't have a problem with paying our fair share. We just want everybody to pay their fair share.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Good to see you, sir. And there again, Mr. Clark, as one of the board members is actually here tonight, I believe. I can't see everybody out there, but I think there's one here, so. Mr., I apologize, I'm gonna say Mitch, because I cannot read the last name.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay, come on up.
I had a lot to say, if they covered it. Also to give an example, I personally own several lots in Wood Run. If I combine my lots and have one fee, that means they do away with over $400 or $525 of fees. So I can get away with not paying $500 something. That's a lot of money. So if I was to combine my lots, I could save myself $525, but it screws the community. And that's not fair. So, you know, I understand how the lots to build a house needs to be combined, to put a house on it, to have the rightest amount of square footage. But when they do away with these lots inside Wood Run, how many lots do we have? How many actual lots do we have? 400 or something? So if everybody has multiple lots and they start combining the lots, our fees on the extra lot, it's like $175. Well, if I combine 4, I only have to pay 1 fee. There's 3 lots I don't have to pay for. So it jacks up the community and the revenue and our rebuilding or taking care of our community. I had a whole list of things that I was gonna read, but they basically said it.
I think the concept is there, from what I understand the concept. I'm just making this recommendation. What I would recommend is you go to the BZA, but first you talk to the association about those different things. And if there's a written proposal, since you do have a lawyer, that needs to be reviewed by your legal team, and then have a written proposal. And then come to the BZA and say, this is what we're proposing, can this be done? And then go to the county attorney as well, before it comes up before this body. But this is the first time hearing about this tonight.
It's, before they were supposed to go, to our board and get a variance. Well, they bypassed that. And they went to the county. They approved it. They just skipped over our board to get a variance. So,
Yeah, that was what, the commission voted on that to grant the way the statute used to say, if there was a problem, that you would come up and apply for a variance. But you still, within your own covenants, you have to have certain guidelines to build on, of course. You have to go by the state regulations if you're gonna do a septic tank. Y'all know all these about the different regulations. But they exempted the lot size, but you still have to go by your association rules, of course. And Mr. Fergie and Mr. Nolan are saying yes. But it sounds like you may need to talk with the association, get some type of written proposal
Mr. Mayor, if I just bring this up, we got this before the lawyer, it's going into court, rewriting our covenants and things, because you dealt with lawyers and they move at a glacier pace, and then it has to be voted on by the association. Alright, so, but what we need to do is just, if we could just put them on hold in our subdivision for now, until we get those things in place, it will be real nice, because you got 10, 15 more people, like I said, tens of thousands of dollars, and yeah, you may have a $700,000 house.
Yeah.
But when you ain't got water going to it in the compost and toilet, we're gonna see how much it's worth.
Yeah. Like a stay, in other words. Like
Exactly, if we could get a stay,
Yeah.
to where we didn't combine any more lots in Wood Run subdivision,
Yeah.
it would be nice.
Cause I know several people that own, I'm talking about 6, 7, 8, 9 lots. So if they was to combine those lots, they have one fee, and you might as well double what I just told you, $500+. They're getting out of $1,000
Right.
every year. Thank you.
Question, Mayor. Yes, sir. Can I ask Josh folks a question?
Yes, sir.
Josh, if, say, 3 parcels in Wood Run in your office became one, under one owner, would it not be up to their association to still keep up with their original individual lots and what they would charge fees on?
In my opinion, yes, it would be up to them, they have their own covenants, rules, and restrictions, it's up to them to enforce it. From the way that we do it now, my understanding, when it is an amended plat, once that amended plat is filed with the registry of deeds, you're amending the subdivision that you currently have. And they can ask us to combine lot 1 and 2 and make lot 1. So we do that. How they enforce their dues, what you do with your dues, is your own responsibility. So, and if we get into the stay from the assessor's side, that concerns me a little bit, especially with the county attorney not being here, because those people that are wanting to combine those lots, if that's the way our rules and laws are now, well, then we're breaking that, so then that brings the county into a prospective lawsuit. So I don't know how they would need to handle it, I would probably just advise the
In the past,
association.
anytime something's been combined, it had to come before our board on an individual basis. Right now, the way it is, they're just going to the zoning office, and I'm thinking, and they're just getting it done. It's not having to come before us at all. And
I think that
these
association
people-
would enforce
Yeah.
enforce your covenant. And if y'all have it in there where you have to sign off on it and get it signed off, that used to be the protocol.
And Kevin, that's what I'm kinda saying, if I'll just use myself, if say I own 10 lots in Wood Run and I combine them, I would still need to be under understanding from Wood Run's covenant that I pay dues on all 10.
That is our understanding
Mr.
also.
Standpoint, I would think the record keeping would come down to the association, not the county.
Well, funny you mentioned that, because the lawyer says when you combine it and erase those lots, those 3 lots become one.
Your lawyer says that.
Yes,
But it doesn't in your covenant, we don't have the power to change the covenant. We're just changing parcels,
well,
correct?
you know how lawyers are, your lawyer tells you one thing, their lawyer tells you another thing, then you have to go to court. None of us want to end up with
Right.
Mayor, if I stand to be corrected, but if I'm not mistaken, when that was first presented to the planning, I think it was because you had a lot of quarter acre lots, is that correct?
this. Yes, sir.
All right, on the rules, current rules, you can't build a house because the septic and so forth and so on are quarter acre. Is that not why it was brought up to be combined to start with?
Now, what it is, Mr. DeBerry, is over the years, because it was its own thing, there were houses built across property lines. Alright, so, which makes it what's the lot, inconform lot or whatever, and so non-conform lot. So, you need to You know, they come in, you scared everybody, they thought, oh, well, shoot, if a tornado tore my house down, my insurance may not pay it out because it's on the improper lot, or, you know how old people are. And so, they got to, you know, if they need to point, if they need to put lots together to get their stuff legal, that's fine. But just because you bought 8 lots beside you because you don't want a neighbor too close, shouldn't be able to just combine them for no reason.
You've got a lot of issues there, it sounds like it's in-house problem.
Yes, sir, I'd love to handle it the way I'd like to, but they won't let me.
Well, they would, but you'll end up in jail.
Well,
No.
all right. Yes, sir.
One thing, when the county combines lots like that, do they then not collect taxes on the other 2 lots? How does that work? If you had 4 lots before, you combine them and made 1, what does that do to your county taxes?
County taxes are based on the value of the property, right? So if the lot's twice the size, it ought to be worth twice the money.
But there's dues, there's not taxes.
Oh, no, I get that.
Yeah.
Why can't you, if they combine 5 into 1, can't you just amend and have that 1 lot be 5 times as expensive as?
Well, see, we pay, it doesn't matter how many lots you own, you pay one flat rate on your first, which is $700, and then it's 25, if I own 1 lot, I pay $700. If I own 2 lots, I pay $700 plus 25% of $700 for each additional lot I own. When they had, just break it down, we just went up, so it was 400 and then 100. So if you own 3 lots, you pay $400 plus 100 for each additional lot. $600 total. Now, they still have the same amount of revenue, no property lines, $400, just for quick math.
But can't you
That's
just
what they
amend?
said. It's gonna be an argument somewhere. And I would just soon argue with the 2 people that have done it than 25 people, if we can hold them off.
It sounds like the attorney could rewrite the covenant to reflect.
Sorry?
The attorney could rewrite y'all's covenant to reflect.
100%, but I mean, and then everything's, and it's gotta be a vote. Changing protective covenants and bylaws is not near as easy as people think it is.
That's
It
right.
is a process.
Yeah.
And costs thousands of dollars, because we're dealing with it.
So these covenants have been in place since 1973, and now people are trying to skirt around it to save money because our dues just went up. And what's happening is people don't wanna pay, and so if you don't wanna pay, even if you got lots and you're not in good standing, you're gonna have a shortfall, so then you raise the dues, so it's going to really affect and possibly could bankrupt either the communities and your neighbors, because now we're gonna raise dues to keep the roads right, to keep the gates up and the pools right, all of that, because it's all costing more money. You look at inflation, so we had to raise the dues, because inflation is so high.
Well, look, we don't want to keep bending y'all's ear about this, I know y'all got a lot of business tonight, but just wanted to bring this. But my thing is like on these committees, if we just get the best people in there, and like I said, I know they're hard to fill, because they don't pay nothing, and somebody's always mad at you, because you can't just help everybody. You know, so it's hard to fill, but get the right people in there on these committees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Banker. Yes, sir, thank you. Mr. Clark, you're next. Of course, you've got a lot.
I'm beginning to regret thinking.
You're gonna be busy tonight.
Mayor, Commissioners, thank you for your time. After the meeting, I'll be glad to listen to you. My name is Richard Clark, I am on the BZA. I'm on a couple of different committees, actually. The Industrial Development Board, I served a little bit with Commissioner Gowan before he rolled off to take his position. I'm on the Planning Commission, Planning Board. I meet with Commissioner Weems on that. on the budget committee as well. I just want to plant a seed. I think it's been brought to everybody's attention. We've got a couple of vacancies on the planning. We've got one on the planning and two on the BZA. I just want to plant a seed, and I agree we need to have experience and knowledge on those committees because we are doing the work for Hardeman County and the citizens of Hardeman County. And I want those committees to be the best they can be. I know that may be a topic for this month or for next month, but I want to plant a seed. Mr. Mike Mitchell is a plethora of knowledge in zoning and regulations. If there's an opportunity to put him on one of those boards, I think we need to take it. That's all I got. Thanks.
All right, let's see where we are here. Okay, has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from November, for the last two?
So moved, accept.
We have a motion to accept. Second. Motion been made, second. Any discussion on these minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? I think that's a motion to approve those sets. November the 12th and November 14th. Okay, we have notaries here, didn't have a chance to propose.
So moved, Ray.
Motion been made, second to approve the notaries. Discussion on notaries, please. Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, say the same. Motion carries and is approved. Okay, reports. We did pull that, again, we pulled that off the table about the resolution because it was an issue, a technical issue by date, and, we're getting that corrected, and that will be brought up, next month on that resolution, from the zoning. And Dr. Smith, you want to come on up now, if you could, please, ma'am?
Do they have copies of the resolution first?
Y'all have the copies of that resolution to amend for Dr. Smith, the budget, if you do have the copies there. Make you aware of that. Yes, ma'am.
What this resolution does is, I believe that you are going to propose to change the budget. Is that going to the budget resolution? With the 85?
The 85 and 92? Yes, we've already approved that, so that has to go and be presented at that time with yours, putting those together and send them to the state.
So you passed a resolution that's gonna go through legislature for the Private Act of 1937. There was a piece in there for, specific to the school board that said, we were supposed to have our, budget prepared and filed with the budget committee on for the first Monday in April. So what we have asked for is for that to be extended to May, while your resolution is going national, let's package it all in one, send it together. Because what has happened is with this new TISA funding model, we don't get any, preliminary estimates until February. Last year, the difference in our amounts changed over $300,000 from February to June. So there's a lot of volatility in there, particularly in March and April. Giving us an extra month still gives you time to pass your budget for the time in there, but it gives us time to make sure that we're a little more in sync with what the state thinks our numbers are really going to be. So that's all our piece of this resolution does. We just thought with the timing of the one that was going to be set up anyway, if we're gonna make a change to that, let's go ahead and make this change, that would help us. Are there any questions on that resolution?
Move to be approved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, we have that motion been made and properly seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All right, now, we need to move into a roll call on that. Yeah, I'd like to have a roll call on that.
Bell,
Yes.
Bumper,
Yes.
DeBerry,
Yes.
Gatlin,
Yes.
Gillum,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Kenmore,
Yes.
Lake,
Yes.
Lanier,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Same,
Yes.
Vickers,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
All right, unanimously approved. And Commissioners, you'll see that, one of the pages you have, it says private charter number 68, but that's what will be, that will be presented to the legislature in Nashville, for the one that we approved first, for our 85 to 92, and then as well as this one, so that's what this first sheet is about, so that's what will be presented.
I do have a few, budget amendments to bring to the board tonight. You should have a okay packet. We'll just go in order through those, and I'll give you a brief summary of what those are involving. The first one is a state special ed preschool grant. This is a one-year, non-competitive state grant that they provided for our special education 3 through 5-year-olds. As far as we know, this is not recurring, but we need to put this in the form of a Fund 141 budget. So that is for, specifically for teachers and an educational assistant in special ed 3 through 5. The next one is called the CW Fit Rural Grant Budget. This is a competitive grant that we applied through, National Rural Ed. Gray Junction was awarded that because of their rural status, and it is in the amount of $10,000 that they can use to fund PBIS initiatives and things like that that's specific to Gray Junction. The next one is interesting. It's called TISA on behalf of payments. And what this is when the state pays for something for us, they want to see it run through our books, even though we never receive the money. So, there are specific things such as ACT, they pay for our juniors to take that, they pay for the test. Juvenile detention centers, students with special education, accounts where the state asks for special needs to be receiving other services from someone else. Those are the type things, those monies never hit our coffers, but they want us to show it in and show it out. So that's what this is doing here. There's two different ones. One is for ACT and the other one is for the individualized education accounts. Any questions on that? The next one is a Battelle grant. This is something that Ms. Dina Sain applied for on behalf of the district and received a $600 grant from the Tennessee STEM Innovation Network. She'll be purchasing supplies and things for her STEM education system. The next one is a pre-K budget. As you know, we have state-funded pre-K, and they cut us a classroom this year. When we developed our budget at this time last year, we did not know what they would do. We actually didn't know that until after the first of our fiscal year, which was after July. So this is the budget amendments that we need to remove that classroom from our budget. The next one is a building improvement, amendment. This is for an emergency roof at Hornsby Elementary. The weekend we got out for Christmas and we had those many inches of rain. We were having some roofing problems. We thought it would wait until next budget cycle and get that done in. We had ceiling tiles falling, it was so bad. So we had to go ahead and get something going on that. We got two quotes. One was for the $157,000, the other one was $402,000. So we went with $157,000. We had to do it as an emergency purchase, so we could go ahead and get it started, and I notified the mayor of that when we did it and sent him the quote. So just letting you know what we're doing on that, and that money is going to have to come out of our fund balance. The next one is a budget amendment for maintenance department. We did not anticipate any mowers or anything like that going down because we felt like we were in good shape, and you know how that always works when you think something's in good shape. So we had a mower go down and a truck go down, and neither were repairable, so we had to purchase those. And we also had some, repair and maintenance, which was part of the roof and some other things that we need to finish out the year with maintenance. The next one is an amendment for $12,000. This was, water damage at Bolivar Central High School. We had two rooms where the, heating and cooling units had leaked. It got into the floor. Once we got into the floor, we found asbestos, and you can imagine what we had to do with containment and everything else. So it came up to $12,000 to fix that. We had to pay for that because it was an emergency, but it's gonna be reimbursed by insurance. We're just showing where we're putting this in there. Insurance is going to reimburse us all the $500 deductible. And the last one is capital projects fund. As you know, a couple of years ago, the board voted to, do some capital project updates and things on the buildings. And if you haven't been by Bolivar Central or Bolivar Elementary, I encourage you to go by there. Middleton High School too as well. Some really great aesthetic things that are going on. It's also going to try to change some of our traffic patterns once we get it fixed and make it more make it flow better. But, those are some things that we've done. The board has voted to ask for another $2 million to be transferred into our capital projects fund. We do not have specific set ideas for this yet. I can tell you that one of the things originally that we wanted to do was restrooms. If you remember the pictures I showed a couple of years ago of how bad shape some of our things were with the restrooms, they had to come out of that original plan because of the cost. The ones that we did have quoted with some of the projects we had going on, we had to pull immediately because there was no way we could do it. There's no way we can do all of them, I may not be able to do a lot of them, and that may not be what we do, but in order for us to start planning for what are we going to do next in capital improvements, this is some money that they will set aside out of our fund balance to be able to start that planning process. Those are all the amendments and budget for that.
Dr. Smith, I have a question. I have to Dr. Smith about it. Are all of the projects finished?
No, both Bolivar Elementary and Central still have some things. The majority of it's finished, but there's painting to be finished. I'm not sure they got the escape windows in at Bolivar Elementary yet. Finishing touches.
Do we have a projected idea of when they will?
Well, the projected date that they had given me was October. It's January, so. They're telling me within 4 to 6 weeks.
I have two questions. Dr. Smith. TISA. Did you state that those funds will not be shown on you all? You know, they're not shown.
We don't get them, we literally get them the last day of the month starting in February. So they will say, you may get this much state funding. Last year, that number decreased every month to the point we were $300,000 less after our budget had gone through.
Okay. The reason I asked that question is that, you know, I was thinking that you said that they would be shown and how would that work for audit, controlling?
They send us preliminaries once a month starting in February, but it's very volatile.
My next question is going to the project. How do you determine, how is it determined that, what schools are listed will receive funding for projects?
We literally sit down and just have planning meetings. We do campus walkthroughs. That's kind of how the last one happened, as the board went, all of them went out and did a walkthrough and identified needs. Then you get cost estimates, and that can withdraw a lot of things from the table right there because of cost. We kind of started with what's the quickest things we can do, what's the most needed, things like that.
The needs.
Restrooms, we're gonna take a lot of time and didn't really need to be done by the school year. We were planning that, we were not really hitting summer, so that's kind of how the restrooms got put on the back burner.
Those people that decide that is your board, right?
Correct.
That you're talking about. Thank you.
The board.
School board.
Okay, what, could I ask you?
Yes.
What about the walkway?
The walkway is done. It is not, not hurt any problems. There's no water, we're good. They went in and raised it quite a bit.
The walkway in White Elementary?
Yes. Now, if it's raining sideways, it's not gonna stop it.
27?
Yes, for the roof.
Is it public knowledge, the companies? Okay.
Not sure.
That's fine.
Is the bid been awarded yet?
We didn't bid it, it was an emergency
Or was
purchase.
emergency bid?
Correct.
Okay. Emergency bids are different. That circumvents any type of bidding process, so.
There was a significant.
Right. Do we need action, on those?
Yeah, they need to be approved.
All these, and they've been approved through your budget
Correct.
committee, your boards.
Yes.
These are being respectfully submitted for approval, from the Hardeman County Commission.
So moved.
Second. Motion been made, properly second. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, we will move into a roll call vote on these amendments. If you would please, Madam Clerk.
Fail.
Yes.
Hubbarth.
Yes.
DeBerry.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
Jenkins.
Yes.
Kenmore.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Lanier.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Sane.
Yes.
Vickers.
Yes.
Weems.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Christian. We'll get those bundled up too and, take them on into the state. There is a special session going to be called in, I think on the 27th, I believe. Governor Lee has called in a special session to address the Freedom Act, some more disaster relief, immigration policy, and, I got a notice on that today, so you do know about that special.
I did know about that, and I would encourage you to do your homework on the Education Freedom Act. If that passes, it could have impacts on Hardeman County.
Okay. Could I ask for a question? Yes, sir, Commissioner Butler.
With that being said, is that dealing with the vouchers?
It is.
So, I just want to, so if a student takes the voucher and goes to a private school, and with a private school, if they don't act right, or the attitude is out, they can kick them out,
And they keep the money.
and they keep the money.
Correct.
And then the public school still has to educate and foot the bill.
Yes, sir.
Cause Dr. Smith, with that being said, their voucher goes with them, like saying to whatever school their parent, conservative, so that's right.
Correct. And the thing that they don't elaborate on sometimes is that they're only gonna receive a set amount of funds, let's just say $7,000.
Okay.
If that private school tuition is $14,000, that family has to make up the difference. If this is meant to help at-risk students and those students, how are they gonna make up that money? And parent choice already exists. Our students can go to McNair or Fayette County, those counties can come to our schools. We are no longer under that federal court order, it's open. There is parent choice out there.
All right, thank you.
If you Google Education Freedom Act,
It's pretty bad.
it's,
Look, Mr.
it'll be
Mayor,
interesting.
when did you say that date was?
January 27th.
27th, a special call meeting for the, state of Tennessee legislation.
And your representatives and senator can really, they're the ones that are gonna vote on this.
Yeah.
Loud voice, please.
All right, thank you, Dr. Smith. Mr. Swift, do you have anything to report? You could.
I do not, if anybody's asking a question, I'm going to let
Does anybody have a- Come on up to the hot seat. To the hot mic.
Did you get your equipment in yet?
Say what?
Equipment.
Did I get what?
Your new equipment, your new equipment.
Tandem nut truck? That's the only thing, no, I haven't got it yet. That's it. I don't have anything, if you guys have any other questions. No, I do not.
I had this one, and we were talking about this more about signage, that people have called me about, speed signs or either slow down, the neighborhoods, I think, around Cliffview, that type of thing. And we talked about the speed bump issue, but the signage, is there a way, is there something that can be added? They wanted me to ask that. Is there
Yes, I have to
something-
follow the NUTCD guidelines, which are the federal regulations for signs in the state of Tennessee. There's certain
certain ones they would like to put up, like children at play, we cannot put those up, because they're not gonna be MTCD. I can put speed limit signs up, but if I have to change the speed limit, I have to get the county commission to vote to change the speed limit up or lower it. Stuff like that, but I can put up other signs like, you know, curb signs, stop signs, stuff like that, but they have to be put in a certain place. You just can't go out and just put a stop sign or a speed limit sign up anywhere you want to. You have to make sure it's in the right format.
Same with the Village community, they need, signs there, that's a dangerous curve in the Village community, and they reach out to me, so,
Yeah, if you'll just call me or let me know or send me where you think if they're looking at it, I'll be glad.
this falls in my district, so they reached out to me.
Yeah, just have them, or you can have them call me, whoever the certain person is.
Okay.
And we'll go out and look at it, see if we can put something there. Let's, anybody, if you ever have any concern with signs or anything, tell me, get hold of me and we'll go out and look at it.
But you can't put a sign on a state.
No, I cannot put anything on state right away. I can't work off the county right away. Anything off county right away is considered private to us. Cause you don't want me to go spend public's funds or county's funds on private property. That's against the law anyway.
I just wondering.
Yeah, I can contact the state.
Yeah, because, 179 Union Hill Church, when they topped that hill, 60, 70 miles an hour in the driveways, we've had one accident last.
If you'll text me on it, if anybody will text me or call me, cause I don't have anything to write it down there.
Okay.
Text or call me and let me know, and I'll address each situation. Anything else?
Bridge over at you in Powell's Chapel, I see some signs going up.
They're not gonna say, they're not gonna start till 2026. They pushed it back to 2026. They're about to start that, Hatchie River boat ramp. They're moving the boat, they purchased property on the other side of the bridge. The state did, and they're gonna redo the boat ramp there. They initially took it all the way out, but I told them, I said, you're gonna have some angry people if you don't have a boat ramp there, so. The state purchased the other side of the property, gonna make it a nice bridge. I think they're planning on turning it over to the county after they build it and stuff, so the county will be responsible for that boat ramp.
Hey, question, during inclement weather, what is your obligation? I know this answer, but for people that don't on social media or even in this body here tonight, what's your obligation on plowing roads?
Well, we don't have equipment to plow roads. I mean, I've got graders and we try to get some places that we can. We put out salt on some of the right of ways coming into like on these hills and stuff like Union Springs. We put it out for the prison over there because that's heavy traffic. They've asked for it several times, but we try to put out as much as we can, but we don't have the resources to do it. And I don't want to spend the county's money, $2 or $3 million on something that you're just expecting to get snow, because we've had, now if you judge it by the past couple of years, yes, we probably need something, but I don't want to go crazy with it, but, when we have snow and stuff, we'll blade a few roads, we'll get out and attempt to blade it now. As far as the resources, we have 649 miles of road, so I can't cover all of them in a week, much less in a couple of days, so. But yes, we try to work, if somebody's got a concern, like, Doolin will reach out to me on something, or we'll try to go over there and try to see what we can do.
Thank you. Casey?
Yes, sir.
I know, in some of the neighborhoods in the city, they put a few speed bumps here, there, and where they're needed to slow people down. I guess you're under some kind of regulations for some of the county communities that are not in the city limits that have, neighborhoods.
Yes,
people
yeah.
go too fast.
I could probably see in a subdivision or something to that effect, probably like a three-way grocery, we have residential area only, no through trucks. I mean, they don't abide by that now, so. If you take on a big liability when you put speed bumps down. If you don't have the proper site, I mean, you have to make sure it's maintained. If somebody goes through there and hits it, there's an attorney general's opinion. I think out of all the lawsuits we looked at here, this has been years ago, I think it was 98% of the times they sided with the person that had the accident, because you have so many variables, or even have speed limits, if you don't have it posted, 15 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour, and a sign goes down, somebody runs through it, hits their teeth, knocks your teeth out on the steering wheel, they're gonna sue you, so it's a liability issue for the county.
Prime example of that is in Silent.
Silent,
On the east end of Silent, when you come out of Chester County into Hardeman County immediately.
Yes.
And it's kind of a bad site, there's a bad speed bump right there. If you hit it, you could lose a vehicle.
It's probably, I've got numerous phone calls, that's not even mine, that's in the city of Solitude. But I can tell you right now, about 90% of people behave. Farmers, truck drivers, somebody, I think, I'm not naming any names or anything, but somebody poured out a bunch of nails beside the signs and they were going around them. I mean, it gets to that kind of point, and you don't want, the county don't want that liability. So, I mean, if it's a dire need, I think we're looking in rumble strips at some of these intersections and stuff, or some of these places that kind of like, when you run off the road on the interstate, you charge a vehicle, something to that effect. We could probably look at that. I've looked into some of that's not a very high cost thing either, so.
Thank you, Mr. Wood, appreciate it. Yes, sir. Let me get the elected officials. Josh, you have anything more tonight, everybody? No? Okay. Move on to, Chip, anything, Hooter, anything? I've already did. Okay. Let me go into ambulance. We have our assistant ambulance director over here, and come up and give just a quick overview.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. As of right now, we're halfway through our fiscal year. We are averaging right around 400 calls a month. Our total revenue, we're over $1 million, which is higher than where we were last year at this time. That's pretty good news. We have 6 vehicles on the fleet currently running. 2 of those vehicles, however, one was wrecked, so we had to have it at the body shop that's getting repaired. And the other one was under warranty, and we needed to get that done before the mileage turned out on that. So right now, that one's at the dealership, getting some work done on it as well. We run 4 trucks daily. 7A to 7P for 4 of them. And after 7P, we run 7P, 7A, 3 trucks. That day truck, we try to keep it down south in the county if possible. For the run volume down Grand Junction, Salisbury, and Littleton area. We have currently 20 full-time staff members. We're fully staffed. We are currently adding on our part-time staff, new paramedics, and new EMTs. That is great news. We are also working on the CDBG grant with a max of payout is $420,000. We have to get 400 signatures. Our director went down on Friday to the Middleton Library along with the crew that was stationed down south that day to do blood pressure checks and to collect signatures for the county. That is a requirement. It has to come from county residents, not the city of Bolivar, unfortunately. That'd be great if it was. We are hoping to add a new ambulance to our fleet with that money and outdated equipment that is in dire need of getting replaced. So that's what our intentions are with that block grant, what we would like to do with it. Let's see. I didn't mention the revenue's over $1 million, which is higher than we were last year. And outside of that, that's halfway through the fiscal year. Let's hopefully this continues on and we have a great year. Any questions?
Thank you, man. Thank you. And that grant he's referring to, there has to be so many surveys completed. That's part of the application process, things you have to have. But that's what we're using that for. And then later on, I was going to discuss some of that opioid money. Some of it can be, I think we may be waiting on the final determination on that first round. Some of it can be applied towards an ambulance. There's different classes, different pots of that money. Some have to be, at a certain point, you have to have, say how you're going to spend it. You don't have to actually spend it at that point. You just have to say what you're going to spend it on. And then work on that and have a different time frame. So those are some of those opioid funds from the first round. All right, let's see. Let's move on around some. David, do you have any on building committee? Do I have any committee reports? Law enforcement? Okay. All right, moving around. Yeah, I'll go ahead. We need to have an audit committee report here, please, sir.
Yes, audit committee met, and matter of fact, met last Thursday evening and discussed the fiscal year ending in 2024 audit. There was 5 findings in our county audit this year. There were 7 the previous year, just to kind of give you a heads up on that. Each department that had a finding has a corrective action plan, they call it, in place so they can, fix their finding. And we, as a, committee, would like to meet with all the department heads by the 31st. We're gonna meet on the 3rd of April, and we would like all the department heads that have a finding, come to the committee meeting and explain that they have fixed their corrective, action there, or have completed their action. And that's all I've got as far as my report goes. We'll meet again, like I said, on the April 3rd, is sometime from now. That gives them enough time to get their, finding fixed. That completes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Mr. Mayor, the Solid Waste Committee met, in November, and came away with one positive recommendation that we would like to present to, the commissioners tonight. The last group of part-time county employees that are not making the $12 an hour are the convenience center workers. So, Solid Waste is making a, positive recommendation on boosting their pay to $12 an hour.
We need to run that to the budget committee first.
Okay, Mr. Graves states that he does have that, in his, pay accounts, that he can cover that for the rest of the fiscal year.
Thank you, sir. We'll need to run that to, Commissioner by the, to the budget committee. And then some of, we had briefly mentioned that earlier, some of these, individuals that are working, they can only make so much, and then the way the law changed it to work over so many hours, then we have to offer insurance. But we're trying to manage that as well.
It's the hours that would get them in trouble with having to furnish that. The $12 an hour is not gonna have any outcome on that. We have part-time workers that are making $12 an hour, and these are the only individuals that are not. So I'm making that as I make the motion, that our solid waste or convenience center workers get boosted to $12 an hour. I'm putting that as a motion.
I'll second that.
That really needs to go before the budget committee first, it's a recommendation from the budget committee.
Can we have, can I speak?
Yes, sir, you're right.
Can we have the chair of the budget committee, speak?
And there is no, budget amendment in place for that.
Right now.
Correct.
So being under solid waste, and he has the funds to do that, it still has to go in front of the budget committee.
Well, you have to have a budget amendment because it's gonna affect, Social Security, Medicare, and the match on our side as well.
And that will go in front of them next month. Next meeting.
And that would depend on, Steve getting with Ms. Linda, whether if he had room in his budget or whether it had to come from fund balance and moved to the enterprise fund. Totally separate. All that correct, Mr.
So do we need to rescind our second and motion until next budget year?
I would say so. I mean, to do something like that, you need a budget amendment to present to the commissioners.
Well, it's just a vote, and if it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass. If you vote and it does pass, if they don't have the money, then they can't do it.
You'll have to go before the budget committee.
I'll rescind my second to
are you saying take the motion off the floor?
I think if that's the way we need to do it from chair, budget chair, I have no faith that's what we need to do.
Is that the way we've always done it?
Well,
Well, normally
It sounds different.
there's not many raises been given
That the budget
in the
committee
middle of
doesn't
a
know.
year, in my tenure here.
Right,
They're
6
given at the
months.
beginning of the budget.
Right, 6 months.
I'm not saying you can't, but you have to have a budget in place to reflect all your expenditures.
So, was all the other part-time workers, when we bumped them up to 12, was that part of the budget, or was that a recommendation just made at the commission?
I believe that was part of the budget on the county side. Like I said, the solid waste is its own private enterprise, got its own budget, own fund.
Well, I know that Mr. Graves has talked to Ms. Linda about that. Notified the committee that he did have the money to do that.
And I haven't spoken to Steve, the increase we were going to put in place for funding solid waste failed to make it to tax cards. So the revenue is the same as it has been in the past.
Cause I know we voted a year ago to raise them in our budget committee, I'm sorry, solid waste committee, and nothing ever come of it, and it brought up again in November, am I correct?
And it would also have to be, as Mayor Pulse said, however many individuals there are that have other income or that can only make X amount of dollars, you're also gonna have to get that information so you can get your budget amendment correct, and that type of thing. And I'm not saying it can't be done, I would just say, as close as we are, it would be much simpler to try to work that in the upcoming budget. But I mean, it can be done, but the correct steps that you take.
I will rescind my motion, but I will make it to next meeting. So hopefully we got something up there.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. And, Shonda, do you have anything to beer board? And, Mr. Miller, do you have anything? We're going around. Mr. Wayne, do you have anything in the library?
Library board in meeting agenda.
All right, let me go ahead into the budget amendments, and then we'll move into Commissioner Wright, and then we'll be ready for your, if you would please, budget chair, Commissioner, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Budget committee met at 6 o'clock tonight prior to, the commission meeting tonight. We have 8 budget amendments tonight. We did bring all those, to the full commission, because the one that may not have had to was the insurance recovery. But we covered those in our meeting to, give you the gist of it. We covered those 8 amendments. We are bringing a positive recommendation for the 8 budget amendments. Commissioner Wright met with us as well, and he'll be presenting some information. After me, he presented to the budget committee, and then, Ms. Linda from the mayor's office, gave us a summary of things, the budget committee, a summary of things that we need to address for the upcoming budget when we start working on it. So that's pretty much the minutes from the meeting. Hopefully we'll be able to take all these together. They're fairly self-explanatory. I'll just pause after each one in case we have any questions. You should have had a sheet at your desk. On one side, it's number 2, corrected, and on the opposite side of that page is number 8, which was not in our packet. That should be at your vote. Okay, number 1 is reserve accounts, the sheriff's drug fund, it's debit and other equipment, $700, and credit and communication, $700. And the reason justification on the right, move funds, for monthly cell phone charges for drug ops and investigation. This is a line item transfer of reserve account. Any questions on the 1? Okay, number two, corrections, ambulance department, deputy and vehicle repair, 84,631.17. And you have a credit of two insurance recoveries, 37,392 and 47,239.17 for a debit credit balance. And that's, moving money from the insurance account for the two wreck ambulance repairs. Any questions on two? Number three, line item transfer election commission. Deputy printing stationery and forms, 2,000, travel, 1,500, election workers, 3,000, and building improvements, 1,000, crediting overtime, 200, legal notices, 4,300, rentals, 2,000, and office supplies, 1,000, for a debit credit balance of 7,500. This is line item transfer.
What was the building improvements?
I'm not sure of that.
Pardon?
The building improvements, do you know what those were?
That was.
You know, there weren't any improvements in
It was
building.
the election, she took money away from it.
Correct. Any other questions on the board? Number four is the workhouse. And debiting the reserve account, 8,300, and crediting, the workhouse fund, building improvements, 8,300, and that's moving money for emergency security gate repair.
What gate is that, Sheriff?
That's the gate on the, side where the judge comes in.
Number five is the mayor's office, debiting, fund balance, $102,909.37, crediting building and project improvement, 102,909.37, and that's, money for the Grand Valley project from that grant. That is a correction, that's not ARP fund, that's a grant money. Number six, Sheriff's Department, deputy fund balance, 231,471.16, crediting Sheriff's Department communication, 231,471.16, and that's money that was paid by 911 to us for the South Tower. It's just passing through our books. Number seven, mayor's office, deputy miscellaneous, 2,500, crediting part-time personnel, 2,500. Your reasons on the right, this line item transfer. Pay Janice Bottler for her work on the mayor's sale, land sale. And then the last one, that was added after the packet, this sheriff's workhouse. Deputy the guard pay line, 60,000, crediting medical services, 60,000. And this is for a shortfall in that line item, that's medical expenses on Pritchard. But he had room, in his guard line. So it's line item transfer as well. Any other questions on 1 through 8? Mayor, I'll move to be approved.
Second. Motion been made to approve the budget amendment, second. Second, Commissioner Sane. Any discussion on the minutes? All right, seeing none, we'll move into a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please.
Wright,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Vickers,
Yes.
Sane,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Lanier,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Kenmore,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Gillum,
Yes.
Gatman,
Yes.
DeBerry,
Yes.
Buffer,
Yes.
Bell.
Yes.
It's approved. And before, Commissioner Wright, if you would allow me real quick to call up Mr. Isaac, you still here for the airport? I know you've got to leave, so I apologize for that. So, this is Mr. Shelby Hodgson, who is our director for the airport, and, he wanted to fill you in just real quick on a couple of things that we've got going on at the airport for the improvements, and if you would, please go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Just to give you a little update, we've got several projects going on. We've been under construction for almost entire 2024, and going into 2025, we'll be nearly the whole year there with various different projects. We just got finished with a seal and a microsurface overlay to the taxiway apron. That's all been completed and finished. Concrete seal around the fueling station, that's all been done and complete. We've started on the site prep for the new terminal building. That project right now is wintered for the next 2 months. So, it'll be finished probably about early summer. So we look forward to having that done. We also have a new operations counter that's installed, which will help us out on the grant, on our funding, going into the future, counts all our aircraft operations in and out, even ground operations. So if anything moves, it counts it, so we kind of get credit for that. Everything's looking really good. We're also set for a drone survey. Hopefully, from what they tell me, it's probably gonna be around March, when that's gonna happen. What that's gonna do is it's gonna allow us to look into the, approach ends of each runway where we have to do tree removal. That's trees grow, that's an ongoing expense for the county. It's hard to prepare for those expenses without some sort of survey. Those surveys cost a lot of money. Fortunately, we've been able to get on the early list for the drone program, so that'll be at no cost to the county. It'll allow us to be proactive, to be able to plan, for the future. Anything coming up that might be, planning is bringing the future into the present, so we do something about it now. So, I'm going to look at that. That's pretty much all I got.
Thank you, Sheriff. Do I have any questions?
If y'all have any questions anytime, please feel free to reach out. Be glad to talk to you.
Good to see you, Sheriff. Good to see you. Commissioner Wright, if you would please, sir.
Catch up speed, over the last couple of years, we've had controversy over who pays what on 911 on their payroll. And I talked to 911 Director Kerry Markham, and I talked to the Mayor Pauls, and I talked to the chairman of the 911 board, Sheriff Newland, about a proposal that I had, and I'll just spit it out. This year's total bill for 2023-24 for 911's bill, payroll bill, was $487,363.23. The county was responsible for 58.110 of that amount. And that left the county paying $283,157.68. All other municipalities had the responsibility of splitting that up on percentage of population was 204,211.55. Well, a lot of municipalities think that this is double taxing, that they shouldn't have to pay because they don't have any say-so on what 911 does with pay raises or bonuses and stuff like that. So just thinking about a way that maybe we could please everybody, I went to 911, the mayor and the chair, and asked what a percentage of the county pay 67% and 911 pays 33%. That's, for the county, that would cost the county, the percentage-wise, 8.9% more a year. Now this is just this year. that's not counting the increase of the insurance and stuff next year. This is just, my figures are based on this year. So instead of paying 283, 150, 168, the county would be responsible for 326, 519.96. That's $43,368 more per year than what they was gonna pay to begin with. And let us remember, we pay that quarterly. And with that, I lead up to Commissioner Mayor made a good point last meeting, was he thinks the commission should pay the whole thing. Well, I'm not far off that, but I'd like to see 911 have some kind of skin in the game where we take into consideration bonuses and pay raises. So 911 approved this on special call meeting January the 9th, 6-0 voted yes. And remember, some people are thinking it's going to cost us $43,000 more a year. Yeah, it did, but 911 just gave the county a new tower and paid $231,471.16 that the county did not have to come up with. So 911 is trying to do its part, and I'm just asking this commission to consider these numbers of the county paying 67% and 911 paying 33% and the municipality paying none. And it be renegotiated at the end of every year. Like I said, I talked to the mayor and to Sheriff Doolin and to Johnny, and I would like, Johnny, your input, what you said at the budget committee, your opinion on that?
Yeah, and I've already thanked Commissioner Wright for working on this. I think it's really good what he's brought tonight, and the budget committee came saying to present tonight, and hopefully we may vote on this in February. As Commissioner Wright said, it would be for the upcoming contract that would start July 1 of the 25-26 budget. It would be a yearly thing. As we know in the past, Bolivar has been the only municipality to pay, even going back to when we had dispatch at the sheriff's office. But then when it switched to 911, they were trying to break it out. Some of the cities think it's double taxation, but if none of them pay, and this is paid through the county, it takes care of it. It's paying, either way you look at it, you're paying a contract for a service. We don't have a dispatch, we pay the contract. The municipalities don't have a dispatch, they're paying for a contract. But we all do live in Hardeman County. If we're paying what Commissioner Wright has presented us, whether you live in a municipality and we all live in our county, and that would take the municipalities off the hook to be fair, I think, to everybody. As far as the 43,000 budget-wise, that's just a percentage of 1 cent of property tax. That's 1 penny right now is worth about 56,000, and the increase would be 40.
And it will be more than that because of the pay raises or bonuses they get, or the insurance going up. So it could be a little bit more. It could be 52,000. It could be 53. You know, so that's why I said this is based on this past year's pay rate.
And also a good point Commissioner Wright made at the budget committee meeting, as you saw in the budget amendment. If we weren't using their service, they paid for that $231,000 tower on the south end of our county. If we were doing it, we would have to pay the $230,000. So that's a $250,000 they just spent. Obviously, it's going to help the service they provide, but they spend the money. And with them putting, as the Commissioner said too, with them putting their skin in the game, the 33%, complain about their pay raises and bonuses, et cetera. Because they'll be using the money that they're also funded from the state, which you did share was guaranteed about $360,000 a year outside of this contract that we're paying. And we did have great discussion. There was some agreeing and disagreeing. That's the one reason I say if none of them pay, that it is fair to everyone municipality wise. There have been, Commissioner Wright was sharing with us, there's a couple of them that say, you know, they're not gonna pay no matter what. They have said if we do this, they are going to pay what they owe. Both now and before, if they owe, they said they would pay it, because they would be off the hook after that. You know, you've even heard, well, this municipality's not gonna pay, well, then we're not gonna dispatch their 911 calls, and I think any of you agree, you can't go down that road, so. I'm not saying it's, Commissioner Sane made some comments I agree with, business-wise, but on the other side, just looking at the big picture, I think it'll be the right thing to do.
Mayor, what's your comments?
I think that, and of course it's my opinion, I think the proposal did a lot of hard work on that. I think it's a great proposal, and I'm in favor of that. I think we can absorb that, and then, the issues brought up about the tower. That tower is for the emergency services to use, and that could save a life. And they voted to do that. And, that was what, $231,000? And I understand, you know, I heard all the comments, but, I appreciate what you did, your hard work on that. And, you know, I don't know if it's gonna be brought up for the action tonight, or what was the request on that. This is a fee-based operation. It's a separate entity, and of course it's different from what Commissioner Kimball was talking about. They send us a bill, so that has to go into the budget each year. That has to be approved through the budget. So what he's saying is to go ahead and increase that fee, and I believe that's your in the total scheme of things. That's what he's saying, to increase that. Now we can pay quarterly. I believe we can absorb that. We've got to redo a lot of things on our budget. Ms. Linda's here, and she can tell you about some of those things that are happening now. But we've got to look at the penny evaluation, we've got to look at the appraisals that are coming up. You know, there's a lot of things to take into consideration. The issue was brought up about the double taxation. We've heard that from different municipalities. And someone even brought this up about WIFO. The prisons were helping at one point, only 1 year to pay for WIFO. They didn't pay that last year. So WIFO had to pay, and I believe it was somewhere about $80,000. Is that correct? And somewhere about in that, you know.
WIFO pays $81,120.
So I think we're trying to help this issue, and but I'm in full support of it.
Can I, Chair of the 911, do you have any comments on?
I support it. I mean, we talked, you made a lot of sense. I was glad that the 911 voted to put some skin in the game. I'm just in favor of it.
Thank you. Anybody got any questions?
And the budget committee members have, y'all want to say anything on that, Commissioner?
So Johnny, I know what the budget committee said on, prolonging the vote until February. Is that what the budget committee wants?
Well, you know, that's what we said, but if we're really gonna move on this totally, it would need to be when we vote on the contract, or maybe just know we're in agreement, so the contract can be written as such, Mayor, for the upcoming budget.
It has to be a new contract, completely, it has to be signed, of course, by the board, and then, but they're sending us a bill, so we'll have to get that, you know, with all, in the new budget talks, of course, but I think we need to know, because they're gonna be working on their budgets in March.
So can we go ahead and make a motion to accept this?
When do the contracts start?
It'd be January first when the new contract begins, same with ours. January, I'm sorry.
July first.
July,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry, January.
July 25, 26 fiscal years. Yeah.
Well, they start on their budget in March, so that's why I'm hoping we get it done as soon as we could. That way too, this all leans on these municipalities. We still have 3 municipalities before that has not paid yet. They're waiting to see what we do tonight.
So, does the 911 send us a contract, I assume? Is that the case?
Is it contract, Mayor? I know they send us the bill.
Yeah, they send us a bill, and I think really we should,
I think the county should make the contract.
I think we should sign that. We should have it, a mutual understanding, or a mutual, you have these MOUs with different points. It's a bill that comes in, but, it'd probably be good to have that sent to us, prepared by the attorney.
Can we vote on the upcoming contract to be 2/3 and a third?
67 and 33.
So can we just vote that whenever, in May or whenever they would present?
Because you won't know what the numbers are until they do, you know.
Well, I think we could vote now on the percentages, right? Which
That's-
y'all agreed to, right?
Right, the 67, 33.
Right. Do we not vote to pass that and?
And were you saying in the budget meeting now for this upcoming year, are these hard numbers?
These are not the hard, these are last year's hard
Okay.
numbers.
But the percentages would remain the same.
Remain the same. That's why I said it might be, you know, 8, 10, 12,000 more that we
I
have
think
to
that's what
split.
needed to be voted on is the percentages. So, everything passed through 911, so if the county passes it, I think all that has to do is
That's how we
a
proceed.
contract and,
Yeah.
and it's,
And looked at every year. It would be, yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
well, that's what's the 911 board voted on also.
yeah, that's a recommendation there as well.
So can I make a motion that we accept the 6733 with the, renegotiated at the end of the fiscal year?
Yeah, I think that's a proper motion. All right, go ahead and restate your motion if you would, please, Commissioner.
Make a motion that Hardeman County pays 67%, 911 pays 33% of the, payroll, and that it is renegotiated every year,
Okay.
And that the municipalities pay.
or pay nothing. Municipalities pay nothing.
All right, is there a second on that motion?
I have one note, because we keep in mind, this is 2024 fiscal year, because June, you said that the budget won't be, the new contract won't be worked in until March, and then we'll start the other one July 1,
Yes.
end of the fiscal year.
Right.
Okay.
I've also got a question, I expressed it in the budget committee meeting. The only reason I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, because Commissioner Wright's done a lot of work, and it does actually sound good.
Yeah.
To me, my only problem was, we just heard about it tonight, it is $43,000 additional money to the county, but the big thing, the 911 board, would be paying $160,000, right? And my question is, can they sustain that every year? I don't wanna get into something to where the municipalities don't pay anything next year, and then the next year we have to go back to them. I just wanna make sure that, I don't think it would be a bad idea just to study it.
Well,
But they
Mr.
still.
Savage, I can answer your question, and the reason why the board voted that it be reviewed every year is because of what you just said. They wanna see how it's gonna affect the budget of 911 also, paying the 36%. And they felt good with 1 year, and then review it and see what it did, so,
Well, I mean, like Bolivar pays, how much, 92,000? 92,000, so if we pass this, next year Bolivar don't pay anything. and then 911 can't pay it the next year, we have to go back to Bolivar and say, well, we need you to pay you $92,000 a year again. That's not gonna go over real well. I think we just need to be careful doing it. I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, but I think we may need to research it a little bit more before we.
And I will restate the point you made there, Commissioner, saying that I said in the budget committee meeting, if it were to come to that, because I'm just so tired of hearing from the smaller municipalities, of course, they have not been used to paying. And then it hit them in their budget, something they didn't have budget for, because Bolivar's been on the municipality pay in the past several years. But I'll say again what I said a while ago, we're paying a contract for a service. From a separate entity. And down the road, if we can't afford it, if Bolivar or any other municipality in this county don't wanna have dispatch, then I guess don't pay the bill. But right now, we're looking at paying it for everybody. But that's all it is. Hardeman County don't have dispatch anymore. Whiteville, Tune, Middleton, Bolivar don't have dispatch. We pay 911 for dispatch. And we've all heard it till we're blue in the face, and that's why Bobby's done this right work, and we're presenting this. Now, will it stay that way forever? Nothing does. This is just the best fix for now, that we can absorb, and it is fair to all municipalities, including Bolivar. And I would like Commissioner Wright to add on to his, obviously, we're just voting on percentages, that once we know the amounts and the contract is written by our attorney or MOE or MOU, Mayor Bowles, that it go through this commission once it is written with the amounts.
Would that be your motion, Commissioner Wright?
Yep.
All
of that? That, Jackie, you have anything else to say before I?
No, I would like to see a little more research on it, and if it comes to vote tonight, that's fine, and I may do something that I've never done before, and that's pass on something, but, like I said, I'm not necessarily saying I'm against it, I just think it deserves a little more looking into.
I've got another question. So, 911 service, they don't bill us. We actually would produce a contract to give to them. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, they bill us. I'm just asking.
So then why would they not be the ones that give us a contract?
And that very well may happen. However the contract comes about.
Because they've already, y'all voted to do this.
Yes.
But they don't know the amounts yet.
Right, no, I get that, how much percent, but that's all we're talking about too, but.
Right.
I would assume that if y'all are sending us a bill, that y'all would be producing a contract, which is subject to change every year regardless, right?
Well, I mean, that's how the motion was stated, and that's how it passed, so yes.
So,
it will be reviewed every year.
I guess I'm confused in that. If
So
y'all are
911
voting, y'all are
should provide
voting
the
to do it.
contract to the county.
I mean, we could have voted, I mean.
But I think the 911 board was trying to see if y'all would be in favor of doing that.
Okay, so they're just trying to take the temperature.
Yes.
Okay, so we're really not actually.
Yeah, that's why I stated what I did.
Producing a contract, we're
I
just.
want to make sure the amount, when it's known, if this body agrees on the percentages.
Right.
When the amount of money for those percentages are known, I want it somewhat in writing and presented back to this commission for approval.
Question? Yes, sir. I may be confused, but I missed something. In, Mr. Wright's motion, it was percentage, the county paying 67%. I understood that would relieve all the municipalities.
It does.
Okay, but then Johnny's turned around and stated in his part of the conversation, if those municipalities didn't pay up somewhere, so.
No, I was talking about down the road.
Well, I mean, if the county's gonna pay the 67%, pay it every year, it's not gonna be no down the road.
It's gonna be year to year.
I know,
They have to renew.
but still, it's gonna be, as long as it's renewed, it won't be no down the road.
Well, unless the county can't afford to pay it.
Well, now, one can't afford.
Right.
One or the other.
Well, on the other hand, to be more to the point, if all that takes place in the municipality, can't pay it either.
Probably so.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it get to the point where the county gonna pay it off. Or have no dispatch.
But I was just a little confused on that. I'm good.
And I know this has been a stickler in the past, but if, you know, down the road, business is business. If something gets too expensive, you can always go back and do it yourself.
So either way it goes, it's gonna be revisited every year.
Correct.
Right, renewed.
We have several mayors here, and there's one here that has some, they don't have any service, I don't believe at all. You don't have fire, you don't have any
We have fire.
volunteer fire, but you don't have a police force.
No.
You want to let your police force go.
And we did pay ours last week. Thank you.
Same taxes, it's paid.
Where everybody's ready to pay. Everybody's ready to pay, they're just seeing what happens tonight.
Keep in mind too, I know you asked about them, what services they have, and the questions come up, and I don't think it's been presented to this commission. But Silerton is a town, just like the rest of us is a town, but Silerton was not included in this bill. They didn't get billed at all. Just saying.
You may need to talk to the, 911 and see why they didn't do
Right.
that. Yeah.
Y'all would be aware of that.
So, the motion on the floor is that county pays 67%, 911 pays 33%, and it's renegotiated yearly. With municipalities paying nothing.
All right, is there a second for that motion?
I say.
There is a second. Is there any discussion on that motion? I tell you what, we're gonna move into a vote, and I need a roll call vote on that.
Bell,
Yes.
Bufford,
Yes.
DeBerry,
Yes.
Galvin,
Yes.
Gillum,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Kilmore,
Yes.
Lake,
Yes.
Lanier,
Yes.
Miller,
No.
Sane,
Pass.
Vickers,
No.
Weems,
No.
Wright.
Yes.
What's our vote? Did it pass? Okay. It passed, motion passes. All right, we'll move on in, if you could please, to, our next item of business. Ms. Linda's here for our budget side. I think we're doing very good on the, I'll give a quick rundown. On all of our, departments, there's one that we have to meet with, coming up, because looks like they're over the 6-month, period that I like to gauge it by. But everybody else is staying within their budget and within their overtime as well. We're watching that very closely. And, Ms. Linda, that's pretty well a synopsis on that.
Yes.
She's our financial director, if you would please. You have any questions for Ms. Linda on that? She's been meeting with the department heads and to get their budgets in line coming up for the next fiscal year.
Keep in mind, the meeting that we had in January with all the department heads, I've met with all but 2. All of them have remained in line with the budget that y'all approved July 1st of '24. So now we may have to do some line item transfers, but department-wise, they're really looking very well. They're coming in under budget. So I'd like to commend all the department heads for that and thank them. And we're beginning to look at next year's budget, and which tonight just adds one more piece to that pie. So, revenues are looking very well, coming online. Our property tax revenues are beginning to come in. So we'll see our checking account grow and things of that nature, hopefully without additional expenditures that we were not expecting. So that's my synopsis. I want to thank all the department heads that are here, the budget committee that listens to me, corrects my mistakes when I make them.
We thank you, Ms. Clinton. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
for what you do. All right, we've got some items here. We had, as many of you know in your package, you may have received that. There was a letter for, that Mr. Henderson's been a long-time member of the BZA board, and, he was going to extend his letter for resignation, and, his term, we're asking for an appointment for his unexpired term. And that will be in November of next year. And, I have talked to Mr. Jimmy Simpson, who I believe you have the resume there. He is a surveyor and was with the city of Littleton for a long time. He was the city manager. That's who I have recommended to fulfill his unexpired term. I know there were some other names brought up tonight for some different things, and I've actually talked to Mr. Mitchell today. Actually, I just talked to him today, and we're going to meet sometime later on when he gets back from Nashville. It may be tomorrow, the next day, on some more things. There are other people that are rolling off these boards at different times, but I had already gotten Mr. Simpson's resume and told him that I'd be nominating him for that position. And is there any questions or anything on that?
Did you say that there was 2 positions on the BZA that needed to be filled?
There's another one that is, just to reappoint, is Miss Griffith. I had talked to her previously, and she wants to be reappointed to the board. So she'd be a reappointment. Miss Polk is on a different committee. And, there seems to be, some people say, oh, they can't do this and because they're expired. There is a concept in law that says until that appointment is fulfilled, they can still remain on that board. So, and you have to be careful about these things. Of course, I understand we've heard different things about the boards and who should be on it. I think Mr. Simpson would be a great field for this one, and we're just going to reappoint Miss Griffith and Miss Polk, who have been longtime members on there. This other name came up this last few days, and I've talked to Mr. Mitchell about that. And so I'd like to, later on, work on something in the very near future with him on something. But I need to sit down and talk with him and work those things out. So does everybody have their packet that you have the names?
So we're just voting on just one?
Let's see, if we got them all together, if you want to take them all in one for the appointment to fill the unexpired term, Mr. Simpson.
Can I make a motion that we table this, to table all 3 until next meeting?
I second.
Okay, motion to table these appointments. Motion been made and seconded. All right, we need a roll call on that, Madam Clerk. All those in favor of table these appointments, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, we will take those until February's meeting. Yeah. Now, Ms. Griffith will still be able to be there. And, now Mr. Henderson will not. So we'll make sure that they will have enough when they need to conduct business. Because I've talked to Mr. Clark, Mr. Moore is not here. They need to have a forum to conduct business, so. Well, with her being allowed to until that, she can continue. I would get the lawyer to back me up on that, but he's not here. But that is the purpose in the law that does say that they will continue until that appointment is filled.
And Mayor, the reason, I'm glad Mr. Commissioner Wright stated to table, and I feel that it should be tabled until you get some more, because you said you wanted to talk to Mr. Mitchell. So, yeah, that's the reason.
Because he
To justify it, this table. We just need.
Do you feel that we'll have those, committees filled by February?
Unless y'all vote to table it again, but I see no need in tabling whatsoever. I think y'all move forward with it, be done with it, move on, and then work on something, because there are other people that are rolling on. But I have to abide by that motion in that second, and what was voted on. So.
But I mean, that gives you an opportunity to find some more people and to have all of them filled, all of the committees.
Yeah. And that's
Right, and that's the reason I say that, that's the reason, the justification for the table.
That's right, that's the will of commission. And they can stay in place, because I don't want to hinder them from doing any business. There's a lot of BZA things coming up.
Right.
And a lot of planning. And I'm going to request that the laundry be there as well, to be at those meetings. All right, is there any other things? Welcome back, everyone. I hope everybody had a good holiday season. Tony Kirk had sent me an advisory, Sam TVA had sent out an advisory, and let me read that to you very quickly if I could, please. Okay, here we go. There's a TVA has put out a conservation alert. If you could cut off all non-essential lighting and turn heat back a degree or two, that would be beneficial. And this came from TVA. So I guess within the next few days, while the temperatures are, as they are, so please be aware of that. All right, is there any other business that we need to talk about?
Mayor, I'd like to bring up something.
Yes, sir.
In the past, we've had work sessions.
I think that's
We've
right.
had one with you since you've been in.
Say it louder, John, I can't hear you.
Like a work session, without having anything to vote on, the stuff we need to discuss.
Yeah.
And maybe bring for
Yeah.
workshop.
Yeah, I think that's great.
A Saturday, a couple, 3 or 4 hours, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I think it's something we need to look at. Because there's some stuff that's went on in the last year or so that we probably need to discuss about.
Yeah.
I know I had feelings and stuff.
School board does that as well.
Just something to throw out there. We need to think about it.
Did y'all hear that? Were you able to hear that? I apologize, I couldn't hear you, so. Talking about the work session.
And I'll work with you. I mean, Lone Oaks would probably be a fine place if you want to do it local.
Yeah.
I got a little pool out there, so.
That's good, it's good to hear.
I've got a question. If you do, John. On nominating, okay, what if we didn't accept one of them? Then it would've went to next month anyway, right? So,
Yeah, we'd have to have another.
do you have a backup plan in case one of yours does not get confirmed?
No, I didn't, because I could feel that vacancy. And there is this is different on the nominations. The county commission, is always to confirm, do the appointments. And there's, some people say, oh, that the mayor can't do that. If it's not specific in a particular private code, according to the legal that we take advice from, they're saying that historically, customarily, and in that code, that the mayor makes the nomination. And then y'all appoint, because that's the way the law is. Y'all do the appointment. That's what it says. But I had talked to Mr. Simpson, and I talked to Mr. Henderson. Mr. Simpson is from that area as well. And in the meetings we've been in, there's a lot of discussion about the certified appraisal, not appraisal, pardon me, the survey. and different things that go along with that. So I thought with that expertise, he would be beneficial with that board, and that was for him. The others were just real ones.
So one thing I'm saying is, it'd be nice to have a backup in case we did confirm the first one. At least we know we have a backup, so going to the next month and do the same thing to Hayden.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Question, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Lawsuit update, do you know any updates?
Yeah, of course.
Perspective, I know he's not here.
Mr. Conner couldn't be here. The lawsuit updates, there's terminology that's been sent back and forth between the county's attorney and the plaintiff's attorney. And I think they're working on those to get those just right, that both parties agree to. That the judge can say this is the correct terminology, so they have to do it. I will say the county is ready. That was voted on before. We're ready. Ms. Linda's is gone now. We're ready to work on those. And when they get those, you know, what's the 1099s? What has to be deducted for this? Whatever the deductions are in payroll, we're ready to do those. We're just waiting on the final decree and the lawyers to get everything together. Now, there was a couple more that was filed. They have been sent over to Tennessee Risk Management, and then they turn around and put those, because that's insured. Those are not FLSA cases. Those are different. So there's another law firm that's been assigned to that to take care of those issues. Okay. That's all I have on that. So if seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
I got an announcement.
Ms. Griggs has an announcement, please.
Sit down.
Ms. Griggs, if you would, please.
I just wanted to, I just got a text earlier that, Rescue Squad 01 at Avon, wife, Ms. Rhonda Avon passed, so I just wanna ask us to keep him and his family lifted. So, yeah, he served Rescue Squad for years, so.
Many years, yes.
So did she.
Please remember, that family, wonderful family in your prayers. All right, we have a motion to adjourn in a second. We are adjourned.